Alright, it's Labor Day, July 4th, 2009, and today is a overcast day, light rain early on, but it has stopped, and it's been a funny 3 weeks of weather. 2 weeks ago we had real clear conditions and bright sunshine type skies and real hot weather, and it leapfrogged the water temperature at that time from 72 degrees up to 84. And the week following that hot week we had a period of real cool weather and rain, and it's been that way pretty much since that week, and the water temps have fallen back to 72 to 74 degrees. So you had a major increase in water temp of 10 degrees within a week, and then the following 10 days it fell back 10 degrees. But this time of the year, this calendar period, is the transition from late spring to pre-summer peak. In fact, we're in pre-summer peak right at this time. And I've been on a 2.5 day trip fishing largemouth bass and caught them on a variety of ways. From Texas rig worms to sluggos to spinnerbaits to DT rapalas, cranking rock piles. Well, today I started out cranking rock piles and caught one decent bass, and you know, the conditions and what I saw on the locator, there were marks on the rock pile, but they weren't really responding to the crankbait aggressively, so I switched to a finesse type of lure presentation and went to a 10-inch zoom plastic worm with a 1/8 ounce lead sinker and started to drag it across these rock piles, and I caught some real nice largemouth bass that I'll show you in a few moments. But you know, the lesson to take away is at this time of the year, when you have pre-summer peak, you want to be able to fish an arsenal of lures that match the mood of the bass. I think today they were feeding because the bites on the worms were pretty aggressive, but it had to be presented real slow with a lot of stop and go and twitching the tail when it's resting on the bottom type lure presentations, and then they responded to that. So the moral of this story is when you're bass fishing, you know, fish a lure a variety of ways, and then think about, you know, the lack of success in that it's telling you that the mood of the bass isn't responding to that lure fished in a variety of ways. So try another lure and go through a variety of speed presentations and depth presentations, and work yourself from the surface right on down to the bottom. Read your locator. You know, if the bait is down near the bottoms, so will be the bass. If the bait is up high, not to say bass won't be on the bottom, but they might be suspended as well too. And that's where a shallow crankbait or a spinnerbait or a husky jerk, you know, is going to get into that part of the water column and put the lure in the face of the fish. So without further ado, let me show you some of these largemouth bass. Here's a chunky 19-incher. This one came on a plastic worm. About this size, you know, pretty much plastic worms. Just can't have a better, you know, bite when they're gobbling plastic worms. Let me show this other one. Yeah, a little bit smaller. That's the size I've been running. And, you know, again, just remember, let the mood of the fish be your #1 goal to try to figure out. Use your lures in a way that, you know, lead you to the right presentation of the right lure. And it's a process of elimination. And you want to be able to make a few casts, and that lack of success makes you switch to a different presentation with that lure or a totally different lure. And eventually, given time, you will come up with the right lure and the right presentation to match the mood of the largemouth bass. And you can catch them consistently until that bite's done, and then you start all over again, maybe on another spot, or take that good presentation on that next spot. If that isn't working, you just start all over and keep going through your lures and your presentations, look at your locator, and you can have consistent largemouth bass fishing throughout the day. As always, to that end, good fishing to you.